When speaking of history and lore in this series, I will only be referencing books, sources, and other material that exists as of the events of this game. If it hasn't happened yet in the universe, it doesn't make sense to me to reference it. So that's the rule we're going to follow for the rest of this series. Hello and welcome back to Lore and Loot Morrowind. Today we're going to be taking our first guild contract. But before we set out, I think it's a good idea to get the history of the Fighters Guild as a faction. If we walk down to the bottom floor of the Balmora Guild Hall, we can find the book Imperial Charter of the Guild of Fighters. Purpose: the Guild of Fighters provides employment to free swords and mercenaries and contracts to local citizens. Citizens may contract with the Guild for the removal of creatures and pests, the delivery of goods on dangerous routes, the collection of beasts for the arenas, and other duties defined by the Guild stewards. Authority: the Guild of Fighters was established under the Section 4 of the Guilds Act, and this charter was first confirmed under the potentate Versidue Shea in the 321st year of the Second Era. Rules and procedures: any member of the Guild of Fighters who strikes or steals from another member shall be expelled from the guild. We actually already found a little bit about this when we talked to Idas FireEye in the last episode. If we get into a dispute with anyone, we have to talk to one of the stewards to get readmitted into the Fighters Guild. Now, citizens who contract with the Fighters Guild and have a dispute may first appeal to the guild steward who accepted the contract, and second with the authorities of each province. Membership requirements, as is pretty obvious and logical, you would need to have proficiency with long blades, axes, blunt weapons, and shields. Guildsmen must be able to use and maintain heavy armor. And finally, in the application for membership section, attachment A specifically, it tells us that there are guild-owned chapters in Alderun and Balmora. In Wolverine Hall, which is a fort in Sadrith Mora, and in the Foreign Quarter in Vivek. There is also some Fighters Guild presence in Ebonheart. We'll visit that town much later. Now, that is quite a lot of information to take in all at once, so let's take a look at the important stuff. First, it's important to get a sense of how time is measured in the Elder Scrolls. The events of Morrowind take place in the year 427 of the Third Era. Logically, there are also a Second and First Era, and before that is a period known as the Merithic Era, and before that is what could be thought of as prehistory, a time called the Dawn Era, when the world was created. For our purposes, only the First and Second Eras really matter. In the year 2920 of the First Era, the Emperor Raymond III and his son are assassinated. The Emperor's advisor, Versidue Shea, takes over the empire, as there was no direct heir to the throne. Now, Versidue Shea was not from Tamriel. He was from the continent of Akavir. We won't get too deep into Akavir yet. All we need to know is that in order to consolidate his power, he declared a state of martial law and banned all standing armies in the empire. No country, no province, no city-state under the control of the empire could field an army. Now, naturally, this left many people defenseless to brigands and other lawless people, so Versidue Shea declared the Guild Act in 321 of the Second Era. This was the start of the Fighters Guild as a sanctioned organization. Since then, the guild has served as private security, mercenaries, caravan guards, monster hunters, and just about anything else you can think of. So now that we know about the Fighters Guild, let's go ahead and take a quick tour of our base of operations here in Balmora. Now, in the main level of the guild hall, we have Facile Carasel and Wayne, who provide training for us. The equipment chest here is for anyone to take from. Inside we find some potions, arrows, and some repair hammers. Nothing great, but it's free, so if you need it, take it. Down the stairs we'll find the bedroom, where we can rest for free. We've already been to the training room where we can find Flaenia Amelusus and Hasfat Antabolus. Around this room we see some spears and staffs we can take if we so wish.
Let's hear it. Okay, I'm listening.
And all the way back upstairs we find Idas Fireeye, and we can get our first contract from her. Alright, looks like Drarain Thelos' house is being infested with cave rats. We should be able to handle this as we've already killed a few rats during our travels. This starts the quest Exterminator. While this isn't the exciting start to Fighters Guild life that I envisioned, I guess everyone starts somewhere, even if it's at the very bottom. Now, I've gone ahead and taken the liberty to purchase a few items between episodes. I traded in my steel claymore for a silver one. Not only does it do more damage outright, but it will come in handy if we face any supernatural enemies like ghosts. I also bought almost the rest of a full set of iron armor. I'm just missing the pauldrons on the shoulders, and we'll be set. I don't think I'm going to buy a helmet. I don't like how it looks. Now, one last thing I want to do before we go kill some rats, I want to go ahead and try to get rid of this moon sugar and skooma. As I mentioned before, some Khajiit merchants will actually buy these from you, and the best place to do so in Balmora is Ravir. Despite his rudeness, we'll do business with him. Now, I'm not interested in his knockoff Daedric weapons right now, so I'm just gonna try to sell him all my moon sugar. Now, he doesn't like us a great deal, and my mercantile skill isn't super high, so I'm not gonna get a good price for this. Ideally, I would sell the whole thing for 500 gold since they're worth 50 gold each and I have 10 of them, but that's not gonna happen. It looks like I can't even get 350 from this miser, so I'll have to get out of the menu and back in and try a lower price. I think he may go for 300, so let's try spamming that price. That worked a charm, and I even leveled up my mercantile skill. Now, I'm 100% sure he's going to rip me off from the skooma as well, but that's okay. Haggling like this is the best way to increase your mercantile skill. Now that that's done, we can head over to Drarain's house, which is just over here across the river.
My time is precious, so make it quick.
When we walk in her house, we tell her that we are here to take care of her rat problem. Apparently, the rats have been eating her pillows. She seems quite fond of her pillows. A strange lady. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and buff ourselves with the thief ring for some extra agility and head on in. Wow, this lady really loves her pillows. Alright, let's head upstairs before our buffs wear out and let's fight the rest of these rats. We were attacked immediately as we walk in, but we can still make quick work of these rats. We're gonna go ahead and take some of these goods in these crates. Call it the adventurer tax. I'm not gonna steal all her stuff, since most of it isn't even worth taking, but we can make a few coins off of some throwing stars. We also see a bunch of baskets full of pillows. We can tell her of our success and she rewards us with 100 gold. And with this, we can head back to Itis. Well, great. That was a really short quest, so let's go ahead and take on another one. Asking for more orders starts the quest Egg Poachers. We need to head down to the Shulk Egg Mine and clear out the poachers from there. On our way to the mine, we see a scrib. We'll learn more about scribs in a little bit.
This better be important.
Alright, outside the mine we see two miners. This one is Findulain. Let's ask him about the egg poachers. Alright, so there are two egg poachers, Sevilla Othen and Dainila Vallis. Both of them are former miners, so they know their way around the mines. Well, since we're on the subject, let's go ahead and get a little more information on the egg mining industry in Vardenfell. Let's ask him about his trade. So it looks like these mines are the sources of scrib jelly and scrib jerky, quama eggs and quama cuttle, and it seems that this is the basis for the economy in Vardenfell. Let's learn more about quama. Alright, so there are a few varieties of quama. We have the scribs, which we met a little while ago. The foragers, those are the little sausage-looking guys we've killed before. We've already seen a quama worker as well a few episodes ago. They're not hostile. We have not seen a quama warrior before, and that's a good thing because they would absolutely destroy us at this level. And we'll meet a quama queen later. They are not hostile either.
So what do you want?
Denock here doesn't really have any more information on the poachers or the quama, so we'll just move along. But before we go in the mine, it seems like we've been spotted by a forager. We'll go ahead and kill it. Now the egg mines, they're dark and typically not overly dangerous unless we meet a warrior. Here we just see a scrib and a worker. Now at this split we can go deeper into the mine to the left or through a door to a different section. It sounds like, according to the music here, it sounds like we're in combat, but I don't see the source of the danger. I hope it's not a warrior, so I'm just going to go ahead and go through the door here to the mining camp. Here we see a wooden structure, some stairs down, and some miners at the bottom. Let's go chat with them.
Yes, friend.
Juilin here tells us that the foragers and workers recognize their scent so they don't attack the miners, but our scent is that of an intruder, so we should expect to be treated with hostility. Katie tells us the same thing about the scent, so we should be careful. But she doesn't have anything new to tell us about the poachers.
Anytime you're
And
ready.
Gore has nothing new to say either.
Waiting.
What say you?
Moving along the minecart tracks, we meet another miner, Lisa. She also has nothing to say. Now heading down deeper, we don't encounter any dangers, thankfully, until we reach a door to the Queen's lair. As soon as we enter, we are attacked by the two poachers. Now they come at us with miners' pickaxes, so they're not overly dangerous, but they outnumber us, so we do have to be careful.
Now you die!
And now we do the Morrowind RNG dance.
This is the end of you, Swit! Stupid!
We can now explore the rest of the Queen's Chamber, and I'm going to give you a quick tour. I'm not going to loot anything or fight anyone, so I'm going to use console commands here. I just want to show you the layout of the rest of the mine. So going forward, we'll come to the place where the poachers were hiding. To the left, we can meet the Kwama Queen. It's a little dark in here, but you can see that she's a lot bigger than all the other Kwama in the mine. This is a diseased Kwama worker. We'll get into the diseases later, but just know that diseased creatures are tougher than healthy ones, and they can pass on the diseases to you, so be careful. Taking the other path leads us back to the first chamber. Here we see more workers, and it looks like this is the forager that aggroed us when we first walked in. We've done the full loop now, so this is the door where we first took back to that miner camp. And that's the basic layout of the mine. I don't want to fight any of the Kwama here. I'd like to keep the mine as untouched by me as I can, so as not to disturb the hive or anything like that. So I'm just going to get out of here.
Quick.
Once back outside, we can ask the miners about the egg poachers, and He tells us that they haven't had problems since we took care of them about 6 minutes ago, so that's good to know. And now all we need to do is run back to headquarters and get our reward from Ida's Fire Eye. This time as a reward, we get some potions in addition to our gold. And with that, we've completed our first 2 quests in the Fighters Guild. Earned a little bit of gold and learned a little bit about the Quama mines and the Fighters Guild. Not bad. Not bad at all. In our next episode, we'll tackle the next contract from Ida's Fire Eye. We'll travel to a new town and learn more about Vardenfell, so join me next time for more lore and loot Morrowind.